Another thing that another con that drives me absolutely crazy, and I just learned to accept it, is the bureaucracy. Hi, Kirsten here, and welcome to my channel. I am a money mindset coach, and I help women to change their mindset around money so they can live the life that they desire and live the life of their dreams. I am also an expat, and I've been an expat for going on 4 years now, and I have almost 2 years living in Spain. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Spain. Pro number one is the lifestyle. A lot of people, when they ask me where I come from, I always say, I'm from California, and people are like, what? How did you leave California and move to Spain, or why? Like, what caused that? And so the most common answer that I give is the lifestyle. When I lived in California, although I loved California, my life was exciting and fast paced, and I was doing all the things. I got tired of that. There's very much a mentality in California where you live to work. Like, work is your priority. Everything is about networking and who you know. But here in Spain, the life is almost completely different. Especially if you live in the smaller towns where I've lived. I lived in Cartagena, and now I live in Jaén, which are all smaller towns. There's this very relaxed way of life, and people actually make time to socialize. It's not like we're trying to fit in. In California, I was always trying to fit in little pockets of time to meet with friends, to spend some quality time with people I love. But here, going out and meeting up for drinks is something that is just part of the culture. The second pro, speaking of going out and drinking, is the tapas and the beer and the wine and pretty much the food. I love going out, especially in the Andalusia region and parts of Spain. In Granada especially, but also here in Jaén where I live, you can get a beer, a caña, which is about like a pint, not a pint, I don't know the sizes, but a small beer for about €2, and between 2 and 5 euros for a beer, and they have quality beers here in Spain. And then you can get tapas. You can get a free tapa, which is like a little small portion of food. It's like an appetizer. It's pretty much like a free appetizer you can get with ordering a beer. So going out and socializing is, one, really inexpensive, and two, there is this very leisure attitude. So we oftentimes, when I go out to a bar or a restaurant, we can be there for like 2-3 hours. People are not going to rush you out. Just want to say, if you're enjoying this information that I'm sharing, make sure that you go ahead and click the like button and click subscribe. Not only will you get more videos about life in Spain, living in Spain, but you also will get videos about changing your money mindset. So if your dream is to live abroad, to live in Spain, to live in, Timbuktu, and you feel like money is stopping you from having the life that you want, then you'll want to follow my channel, and I will show you how to shift your mindset to create the life that you desire. Another pro or advantage is that I don't necessarily need a car to get around and do things and go places. And obviously some things would be more accessible if I had a car, but I don't need it. I walk to the grocery store. If I need to go shopping, the center, I can walk to the center. It's very close. If I need to go a long distance, there's usually a bus. Obviously, a car would make things easier, but that's okay. There's taxis. There's Ubers in the bigger cities, and like rideshare apps that you can use, like BlaBlaCar, and Amovens is another rideshare app that I use if I want to go a long distance. And the last pro that I'm going to talk about is summertime. Summertimes in Spain are my absolutely favorite time of the year. Spring is really lovely too, but there's just something special about summer. The weather is great. It can get extremely hot in the south of Spain, and around July, August, it can get like super hot. But like May and June are beautiful times to be in the country. The beaches are so diverse. You can go to the Mediterranean Sea, you can go to the Atlantic. Some beaches are super calm. Some beaches, the waves are a little bit more lively. People are outside eating. Everyone's socializing. There's live music events. It's just a really lovely time of the year, and it's one of my favorite things about Spain. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some of the cons when it comes to living in Spain. And so this con is, well, it's kind of a mixture of a pro and a con. And pretty much there is limited English speakers, or there are a majority of people that do not speak any English. English is not a very widely used language. Although go to places like Madrid or Barcelona, you're probably going to meet some more bilingual speakers, people that do speak English. But smaller regions, smaller towns, less and less people speak English. And so this is a pro if you want to learn Spanish, if you want to be immersed in the Spanish language and the Spanish culture. Spain is definitely the place to do it. I would be careful though, because depending on the region that you go to, you're going to get different accents. And I'm constantly learning new words and new expressions depending on the region that I'm in. And some regions I still can't understand what exactly they're saying because their accent is so strong. Another con that drives me absolutely crazy, and I just learned to accept it, is the bureaucracy. I'm used to the States. I mean, I lived in Panama 2 years before, and so the bureaucracy there isn't that much better. But I guess I thought, like, because it's in Europe, things would be, to a certain caliber, but not really. And the golden rule of thumb for dealing with any type of bureaucracy in Spain is, one, have make copies of everything. You're gonna need every single little piece of paper that they require. They love having paper. And two, if you first hear no, go back and talk to someone else, and most likely that person will say yes. It has happened many times before. Even just recently, I tried to prolong my visa because I'm on a student visa, and the person was like, no, you can't do it. Even though it's been a process that has been done time and time again, I got a no. So what did I do? I mailed in my application instead of going into the office and handing it in. And lo and behold, it got accepted. So when first you hear a no, try again until you get a yes. A third con from living in Spain is really and truly the lack of diversity. Thankfully, in places like Madrid and Barcelona, the bigger cities, the diversity is kind of opening up. I can go to Madrid and see people that look like me. It also has an effect on how I'm being perceived. And so sometimes people are very open and are curious about who I am, my culture. But then also there's a lot of ignorance because most people have never seen someone that's liked me, interacted with someone, not so much seen someone like me, but most people have not even interacted with another Black person, or at least another Black person from the States. So that can be a bummer. I remember one time when I went to work with a group of younger children, about 4 or 5, one of the kids was really excited to see me, but he literally had said, like, oh man, you must spend a lot of time at the beach because you're so morena, you're so tan. And so sometimes people are really receptive, and sometimes people are a little more narrow-minded just because they haven't been exposed to different cultures and they don't really understand exactly what it means to be empathetic. They don't always get when it's not okay to say certain things, or I've been asked, if someone can touch my hair and things like that. That's only been a small portion of my experience. However, majority of my experience, people have been super welcoming. Thanks for watching my channel. Comment below which pro or which con surprised you the most, or maybe just what you kind of expected. If you're living in Spain or have had experience in Spain, tell me which pro or con you relate to. And remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button so that you can get more videos from me.